He trained for years to win one race, but the real battle wasn't against the clock, it was against himself. The race within. The air smelled like rain and cut grass. The kind of morning that carried both peace and promise. Ethan Cole laced his shoes, pulled his hoodie over his head, and stepped into the dawn. The streets of Riverview were still asleep, but Ethan's mind was wide awake. He wasn't just running laps, he was chasing a dream. At 17, he was already the pride of his small town, a record-breaking runner, a name whispered at every meet, and the kid everyone said was going places. For Ethan, running wasn't just a sport. It was escape. It was identity. It was freedom. His father worked double shifts at the old mill, his mother managed the local diner, and their house had seen better days. But on the track, none of that mattered. Every stride was a declaration, I am more than this town. I am going to make it. Coach Daniels, a wiry man in his 50s with a voice like gravel and eyes that had seen both glory and heartbreak, believed in him. Coach Daniels, a wiry man in his 50s with a voice like gravel and eyes that had seen both glory and heartbreak, believed in him. You've got fire in you, Cole, he'd say, watching Ethan train long after the others went home. But remember, fire's only useful if you learn to control it. Ethan would smile, not really hearing. He didn't want control. He wanted victory. The rise. By mid-season, Ethan was unbeatable. Race after race, he shattered personal records. Scouts from state universities started showing up at his meets. The local newspaper ran a feature, Riverview's Rocket, the boy who runs like the wind. The fame, the applause, the whispers of scholarships, it all fed the fire. Ethan began training harder. Mornings before dawn. Nights under the floodlights. His friends invited him out, he refused. His father warned him to rest, he didn't listen. Coach Daniels saw the signs. You can't sprint through life, Ethan, he said one afternoon, even the best runners need to pace themselves. Ethan just smiled. Coach, I don't have time to slow down. The fall. It was the biggest race of his life, the regional finals. A win here meant qualifying for state, and a likely scholarship offer. The crowd roared. The announcer called his name. Ethan crouched at the starting line, heart pounding, legs thrumming with energy. This is it, he thought. Everything I've worked for. The gun fired. Ethan exploded forward. His strides were perfect, powerful, rhythmic, almost effortless. By the third lap, he was leading. The crowd was on their feet. He could already see himself crossing that line, victorious. Then it happened, a sudden, sharp snap in his right leg. Pain like a knife twisting through muscle. Ethan gasped, stumbled, and collapsed. The world blurred. He rolled across the track, the sound of pounding feet rushing past him. When he tried to stand, his leg buckled. He screamed, not just from pain, but from the shattering sound of his dream breaking apart. The silence. The diagnosis came the next day, torn hamstring. Minimum 6 months of recovery. The doctor's words echoed in his head like thunder, your season's over. At home, his trophies glinted mockingly in the evening light. He sat in silence, staring at them, tears he refused to shed burning behind his eyes. Days turned into weeks. His friends moved on. The school buzzed with talk of the new star runner, a freshman with potential. Ethan felt invisible. He stopped going to the track. His running shoes gathered dust in the corner. Coach Daniels called. Ethan didn't answer. The world that once revolved around him spun without him now. The breaking point. One night, his father knocked on his door. Son, he said gently, Coach Daniels came by again today. Says he misses seeing you. I'm done, Dad, Ethan muttered. What's the point? I blew my shot. His father sighed. You think one injury decides your life? You think success is only about winning? Ethan's jaw tightened. You don't get it. Running was everything. I do get it, his father said softly. When the mill closed 2 years ago, I thought I'd lost everything too. But you don't quit, son. You rebuild. Ethan didn't respond. His father left, closing the door quietly. That night, Ethan stared at the ceiling until dawn. The return. The next morning, he limped to the track. It was empty. Just him, the cold wind, and ghosts of cheers that once filled the stands. Coach Daniels was there, as if he'd been waiting. I figured you'd come, he said with a faint smile. I can't run, Ethan muttered. Then walk, the coach said. Every race starts with one step. So he walked. Then jogged. Then walked again. The pain burned, but it was different now, a reminder that he was still alive. Days became weeks. Slowly, painfully, Ethan began rebuilding. The speed didn't return right away. The endurance wasn't the same, but the fire began to change. It wasn't about fame or scouts anymore. It was about proving to himself that he could rise. Coach Daniel started training him differently, focusing on form, patience, breathing. You used to run away from things, he told Ethan one day. Now, you're learning to run through them. The redemption. A year later, the state qualifiers returned, the same meet that had broken him. Ethan entered quietly, no reporters, no expectations. Just him and the track. When he stepped up to the starting line, he felt calm. Not the desperate hunger of before, but a steady fire inside. He wasn't running to prove others wrong anymore. He was running to honor how far he'd come. The gun fired. Ethan surged forward. His body remembered. His mind focused. Around him, runners fought for position, but he didn't notice. He was in his own world, stride, breath, rhythm, focus. As he rounded the final curve, his leg twinged, the same spot where it had once torn. For a split second, fear flickered. Then he pushed through. He crossed the finish line second. Not first. Not the win he'd once dreamed of. But this time, as he slowed to a stop, gasping for breath, tears filled his eyes, not from pain, but from pride. Coach Daniels clapped him on the shoulder. You found it, didn't you? Ethan nodded, smiling through the tears. Yeah. The race within. The lesson. Months later, Ethan gave a speech at the school's end-of-year ceremony. He wasn't the top athlete anymore, but he'd become something more, a symbol of resilience. He stood before the students, nervous but steady. Last year, I thought winning made me who I was, he began. Then I lost everything. But what I learned is this, the race that matters most isn't the one others see, it's the one you run when no one's watching. The one where you fall, get up, and keep going. The audience was silent, every eye fixed on him. He smiled, looking at the young runners in the front row. Don't run for medals, he said. Run for meaning. Because when the cheers fade, and the track is empty, that's when you find out who you really are. Epilogue. Years later, Ethan didn't become an Olympic athlete. But he did become a coach, at the same high school where it all began. Every morning, he stood on that track, watching new generations chase their dreams. Sometimes, when the sun rose over Riverview, he'd lace up his shoes and jog a few quiet laps, not to win, not to prove, just to remember. Because for Ethan Cole, the race never ended. It simply changed lanes.